Welcome to Financial Clinic, your ultimate guide to achieving financial success. Proudly sponsored by NCBA Bank. Join Sally Limo as she expertly shares invaluable tips and insights designed to empower you in reaching both your personal, business, and financial goals with NCBA Bank. Your journey to a brighter financial future starts here.
NCBA. Go for it.
My name is Judy Mbethe, and I'm the head of institutional banking at NCBA Bank. I'll be talking about the sustainability of donor organization in the changing global landscape. And this topic is critical given that there has been significant changes around donor funding and also donor priorities. This means that for not-for-profit institutions, they have to really rethink about their sustainability going forward, and they have to relook and see at their models cut out to be able to sustain the kind of shocks that they're having at the moment. This is critical because we have seen significant changes, and for not-for-profit institutions, they have to be ready to reshape their organizations for the future. Join me on Financial Clinic as we unpack the conversation on sustainability for donor-funded organizations. I can't wait to see you there.
Twende Mbele. NCBA. Go for it.
Kote nchini matumaini, tujitahidi, tujivunie, tuendelee. Mbele, twende mbele.
Kenya. Twende mbele. NCBA. Go for it.
A beautiful Wednesday indeed. A very good morning to you wherever you are joining us this morning on Family Matters Financial Clinic. An amazing day to be discussing a topic that most people feel or overlook it, when it comes to matters sustainability, especially sustainability for donor-funded organizations. A lot has been happening, around in terms of even donors shifting from, supporting organizations and all that. There's so much to unpack when it comes to matters sustainability. And in partnership with NCBA Bank, we'll be discussing this and unpacking this. I have an amazing panel who will be introducing themselves shortly. But before then, they remember to join into this conversation on 20316 SMS line or 0786316316. That is our WhatsApp line. My name is Sally Limo. Welcome to the show, and to my guests, a very good morning, lady and gentlemen. Karibuni sana. Judy, I'll start with you to introduce yourself. Then we go to Canon to introduce himself.
Thank you, Sally, for having us here today.
Yeah.
My name is Judy Mbethe. I'm the head of institutional banking at NCBA Group. And that's a team that takes care of the not-for-profit institutions, mainly faith-based, diplomatic missions, and international and local NGOs. We are passionate about supporting this customer segment and definitely to ensure that we give them the right financial tools so that they can be able to impact society and the communities that they serve.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Canon, karibu. Introduce yourself, please.
Yes, my name is Canon Chris Kenyanjui.
Yes.
And I'm a priest in the Anglican Church, Diocese of Machakos, and I'm also the General Secretary of the National Council of Churches of Kenya.
Yeah.
Bring together about 50 organizations, 32 of them churches.
Okay.
And we have been here for 111 years.
Wow.
So it has been quite a long time.
Yeah.
We serve the people through churches. We have churches across the country.
Right.
We have over 50,000 churches across the country. We have schools, many schools that you see, maybe even the schools that some of you went to, were started by our churches. We have hospitals. In NCBA, we have about 400 hospitals.
Yeah.
So we serve Kenyans in various ways.
Yeah.
So as NCBA, my work is to make sure that all these things are working together, and that we are continuing to witness to Jesus Christ every day in our walk with God.
Fantastic. And I hope, people don't assume that you're there 100 years, even you yourself know it is not you that is the NCCK,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, Judy, just to start us off, why is it important to have this? Why is it very critical for us to be discussing this topic right now?
Sally, that's a very good question. And let me respond by saying that one, sustainability is no longer a nice to have conversation. It has now become a necessity,
right.
And not just for the for the private sector, but for all sectors really. Okay. If you look at what has been happening in the global perspective, we've had a lot of changes around political, economical alignments, and just recently, and especially this year, we've seen a lot of donor funding cuts, especially from the USAID, which actually I think they're getting rid of the USAID funding completely. Definitely, we've also seen other donor agencies giving indication and that they're going to be cutting funding. So it's very important and a must for organizations to really rethink about their sustainability agenda.
Okay.
And this is greatly impacting donor-funded organizations because definitely this has been their where they drive their funds for driving their programs. So it's very important that they get to think about how are they going to move forward, how are they going to change their organization, and also look at the partnership levels that they're having and diversifying their funds. There's a lot, it's quite a wide topic, but definitely one that must be held.
Okay.
Yes.
Diversifying their funds, that's a very important point that you've mentioned right there. Canon, people, I'm sure the listeners of yours are just wondering, NCCK, NCBA, what is it all about? But how did your partnership with NCBA start, maybe?
Yes, as I have said, our organization has been there for 100 years. So we are older than NCBA. Let's start there. So we started with NIC quite a long time ago. We're banking also with CBA, but when they joined together, we have been working together. As I said, we have many other organizations that we run. So, for example, we have been banking. We need a place where we can have custody of funding. So they have done custody of our funds for many years. It can't be it's many years, over 40 years. And we have found them to grow with time, especially with the systems as modernization comes. But apart from that is also, I can remember when we started the hospitals, we needed funding for the equipment. Yeah, it's much easier to build the structure, but when it comes now to funding for theaters and other equipment, they come in handy in asset financing. Apart from that, of course, is other loans. We have had many other loans for our operations to make sure that NCBA is properly grounded. So our partnership goes beyond that because we have a lot of advice. They have advisory teams that are there. And because we are customers of the bank, we are able to access that reservoir of experts. Yes.
Nice. Judy, so with this faith-based organization, for example, then, how are the faith-based organization and also the donor-funded organization uniquely impacted when it comes to, the withdrawing of the fundings from the donors?
There is a great impact, I must say, largely because, you see, for faith-based institutions, they're depending on donor funding to be able to run the programs.
Right.
So immediate impact is on their cash flows.
Okay.
We've also seen impact where programs have had to end abruptly, and that means that the communities that they serve are also starved of whatever program that was serving those communities. So there's been quite some impact even around the staffing level, meaning that in some programs the organizations have had to downsize, and that means that their livelihoods, if you look at the ripple effect, it's quite significant, I must say, that if today we are to look at how many people have lost their jobs because of the donor cuts, donor funding cuts, the number is quite staggering, noting that those people were also supporting, say, their families, and not just at a nuclear, but maybe also at an extended level. So there is quite an impact that it also meant that the funds that they maintain, they've had in the bank, especially those that didn't have reserves, they're having to look at how do they bridge some of those financial obligations that they have. I'll give an example where you have a customer who has already spent, and the mode of funding with the donor is on they're refunded. It's on a refunded model. So meaning that they spend some of their funds from either their reserves, expecting to be refunded. So for USAID, you find that most of these organizations are running with certain deficits, especially where USAID has opted to just only support critical, I would say, health initiatives only. So if an organization was, say, running a poverty eradication program, and you had some expenses that you had incurred, those are not being met. So it's been quite, I would say, if we look at the economy, that means that a supplier will not be paid. It means that a bank that had funded that supplier will have a non-performing loan or a non-performing facility. So the ripple effect is quite significant.
And you know, from where you sit, Canon, then what is the role that NCBA has played in just supporting you guys in terms of, after the withdrawing, in supporting your financial operations especially?
I think let me just first of all state that for NCBA we were partners with USAID for many years, and therefore the policy that came to cut the funding affected us directly, not significantly, because our funding comes from various sources, and we have sources that we raise our own sources. Because we have rental properties where we raise properties, which somehow NCBA has also been a partner in developing. We also have some guest houses that we run. I talked about hospitals, and we also run many other programs within the community. So we have our own sources of income. Then we have other donors from different parts of the world that also support us. So we were affected about 10% of our funding. It's still significant, but we have been able now to put in measures. Our forefathers and leaders in the council saw this coming many years back, and they asked themselves, what will happen when we'll not receive a single dollar from the donors? And that's how we developed a lot of our properties. We developed a lot of our own assets, hospitals, guest houses, and other ministry places. For example, our ministry to students in the University of Nairobi. Back in the 60s, we were able to develop Ufungamano House. I'm sure if you went to the University of Nairobi, you saw it. It's a student center, basically. We have hostels there, we have a cafeteria, and we have halls where students can meet. And all the proceeds that people pay there, they go towards supporting the chaplaincy in the University of Nairobi. And we looked at as a model that has been able to be built, because we know now our ministry to the students of the University of Nairobi is perpetual. It will never stop.
Right.
That's what we are looking at, and NCBA has been a big partner in helping us. For example, when we want to buy a van, or we want to buy some equipment, or you want to buy computers and you may not have all the cash flow at once, NCBA comes in to support that.
Awesome. Fantastic. So they are great partners, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I can say the same about them. So then, Judy, when it comes to the kind of type of products or services that you offer as NCBA, just to ensure that these donor-funded organizations experience of have long-term sustainability, what are some of those products or even services that you offer?
Good question, Sally. I think I want to pride that NCBA has really been able to understand the donor-funded organizations.
Okay.
We understand that every shilling counts. So we have come up with a tailor-made product and value proposition that supports them in the long term. So we are able to give multi-currency interest-bearing current accounts so that is able to for them to transact. Then we offer solutions on treasury solutions, where we give preferential terms for their foreign exchange conversions. We also offer solutions around that, giving them market intelligence, as Canon here has mentioned, in terms of advisory. We also provide them with other solutions, which are now becoming more actually a requirement, and we are finding excuse me, a lot of interest around hedging solutions, so that then they're able to mitigate around FX losses. Then we do offer solutions also for their staff, so that we look at customer holistically. What are we doing for the staff of that organization? So we offer them preferential terms on their accounts, and at the same time we work with them through our citizenship program to see how can we be able to support them in some of the initiatives that they have. So we do offer sponsorship which are aligned to our to the bank's sustainability agenda. So we have quite an array of solutions. We offer cash management solutions online that supports them for their payments and collections. I must say that NCBA is one digital bank, and you know very well we were the first bank to even partner with a telco to offer virtual accounts, and we've really grown in that front. So around digital online banking, we are able to integrate with their systems, the ERP systems, which is one I would like to invite most organizations to really consider for efficiency and accuracy in terms of their donor reporting. So it's quite an array of products, and we do offer many things. You've had Canon speak about asset financing, bridging financing. We are now even offering investment solutions beyond the call deposit, fixed deposit. You can put your money in our money market funds. We support also the other subsidiary, even insurance. So NCBA is a one-stop bank and a financial partner.
Do you also support the can we call them grassroots donor funded organizations, those small ones, because NCCK is huge? Do you also support the smaller ones?
A good question. Let me tell you, NCBA takes care of everyone. We support even CBOs at the grassroots level. We support even chamas that have come together to be able to access financial services. So we do not limit ourselves to only the top tier customers, but we have a solution for each and every customer that walks into our
Fantastic, lovely, that's great. For you, Canon, and in that partnership, are there any specific, maybe, how may I call it, projects that NCBA has funded directly or assisted you guys with the advisory services or in any other way?
Yes, there are some that are ongoing and some that have actually been completed. I talked about, for example, when we want to buy a vehicle, we'll go for asset finance. You remember in the early days, they had a very good asset finance. I think they're still the leaders in the asset finance side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one area that we have benefited from. I talked about the hospitals when we needed equipment. When you establish a hospital, people don't know this, but you require very specialized equipment.
Yeah.
Some of them come from, most of them are actually imported.
Okay.
So you need to have a financing partner so that you can be able to pay the suppliers, and then you have your CT scan and your other equipment for the lab and so on. So they have helped us a lot. We have a hospital called Jumuiya Hospital in Huruma, serving the people of Eastlands, 100 bed, and currently we are doing quite well, and we thank the people who have been supporting us. And the hospital has just taken off. Okay. So NCBA was one of our partners. We also, I talked about the custodial services. When you want to report to donors, you need a bank that has very good systems.
Yeah.
So that when you click, you know that if you're sending money here, it's going there. And when you need a report, you can be able to put it together. So that's something that NCBA has done for many, many years. And their cutting-edge technology within the bank has helped us quite a lot. And then a lot of people that we pay are all over the country. Because we have operations in Turkana, we have others in Kwale and other places. So when you want to pay those people, we pay them through M-Pesa. So if you want to facilitate them to do something.
Yeah.
So they have a platform that has partnered with other technology companies, and we are able to do that seamlessly within a very short time, and turnaround time is very good. So we also have opportunities now to partner with them going forward, especially now that we have, with the cutting of funding, and we're having many donor conversations about sustainability. We're now looking at how do we develop, for example, an endowment fund? How do we ensure that NCSK, even if we don't receive a single coin, that we are able to fund 100% of our budget? So that is the discussions that we are having with NCBA.
Okay.
They are helping us with regard to some of our liabilities that we want to either reduce the pricing or retire them entirely. Okay. And so that as we look forward, we'll see that NCSK is going to be there for another 100 years.
Absolutely. So they'll make it like, what, 200 thereabouts?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. All the best, Canon. Yeah. Now, you know, matters digital, because, you know, even Canon has talked about the system that you have, including technology, you know. What is the role of, say, digital banking and also fintech innovation when it comes to now this space of sustainability for the donor-funded organizations, Judy?
Sally, digital innovation is a game changer.
Right.
And digital banking actually brings a lot of efficiency, brings a lot of traceability, and auditability. I think that's the right word, Canon. Auditability, such that it supports our customers to be able to do their payments seamlessly. You've heard from Canon on how we've been able to support them, especially on making payments. And it is making payments right now for beneficiaries to receive the payments immediately. So digital, the digital banking is playing a big role, and NCBA has continued to invest in this front to make sure that our systems, our online banking systems are robust and are able to support the emerging needs that our customers have. We've also gone to partner with fintechs, as you may be aware, and also telecoms. For example, and on mobile payments, we are, I think, one of the few banks, or one of the banks that supports validation of M-Pesa payments. So that means that customers can be able to send us a file. They're paying beneficiaries, say in Turkana, and there are 100 participants. We're able to validate those mobile payments, mobile numbers, so that the payments do not go to the wrong beneficiary. And that has been very key for our donor-funded organizations, so that none one is able to lose any money. Before that, you would just send the payments to us, and then they would just be remitted. And if there's an error, it would be too bad for both the customer and us, as we support them in trying to retrieve the monies. So we believe that digital innovation, not only at the banking sector, but even for our customers, and especially donor-funded organizations, that it's a must-have as they automate their systems, automate their processes to be more efficient. When you have that kind of efficiency, it also creates donor confidence. Yes,
which is very important.
Very key.
And in all that, I'm seeing a lot of transparency as well, isn't it?
That's very true.
Okay. Wow. We are discussing matters sustainability for donor-funded organizations. It's an interesting conversation. Please loop in on 20316 SMS line or 0786 316 316, our WhatsApp line. And remember, on the 30th, do not miss our prayer circle extra. It's going to be special. It's going to be exciting. Now, getting back to the conversation, just, I can see already online we have some questions, and maybe we can handle that, then we go back to our questions. Someone is saying, hello, Sally and the guests. I have questions on today's topic, which is normally overlooked, and being in the NGO world, I'm excited. So the first say, can the bank be able to assist DFOs, donor-funded organizations, transition and be independent financially instead of depending on grants? And then in our organization, there's a funding gap, especially now that donors have packed out. Does NCBA have any innovative solutions? And the third one is, how important is green finance in your sustainability strategy for donor-funded organizations? And I think because Judy, you took us to the break, then Canon, I'll start with you just to help us unpack and respond to that question. Can the bank be able to assist DFO's transition? I know you're not the bank, but can you respond to that?
Well, I think I'll give an example in terms of this, because this is not the first time that there's a cycle or change in policy of donor financing. NCBA started a small program for small and micro enterprise back in the 1970s. So it started by going to the streets and getting the commercial sex workers and then getting them off the streets and then helping them start small businesses like becoming Mama Mboga. But they needed credit so that they can go to Marikiti and buy stock and come back and sell, and then they can pay later. And then that way they'll be able to feed themselves and their children and educate. And we saw a lot of them transform to become very good business people in the country. And that's how one of our banks, CODSMEP, was started. It was started in a project like that. And if you look at the situation where, for example, some of the NGOs that were supporting people in the streets, or they were supporting, I think NGOs must look back and see how can they create an organization out of the projects that they have been doing. Maybe they've been working with women in the streets. Maybe they have been working with orphans and vulnerable children. How can they create an organization, and how can they create sustainable solutions like what we did with the women? Today, SMEP is a microfinance bank. It's a tier 1 microfinance bank. With about 40 branches across the country. And we are serving a large number of Kenyans to run their businesses. So, and for you to do that, you need an anchor partner. That's where now NCBA or any other bank that you're working with comes in. But for now, you'll need a lot of advice. You'll need a lot of credit support, because we still borrow money from the banks so that we can be able to meet some of the shortfall. But what we have seen is that some of the business people that we started with now have even graduated out of microfinancing to bigger financing, even offshore financing, because businesses grow. And when we look at ourselves as NCBA, the model that we have is to always ask ourselves, how can we make what we are doing be able to finance itself? So you have to always be able to look at that, even if it's a poverty eradication program, because MEP is actually our vision in hope is to serve underserved families to fulfill their dreams and to witness to Jesus Christ. We still have the witnessing part because we are church. So that families that can be able to feed for themselves, they can be able to start a business, they can be able to educate their children, that becomes now an anchor. And that's what I will ask all the NGOs in the country to always think. How can they turn around their projects to become organizations that are self-sustaining?
Okay.
Yes.
Very important. Organizations that are self-sustaining. That's indeed what we're discussing this morning. And Judy, maybe, I don't know if you have anything to add on what Canon has said in terms of, you know, that transition.
Absolutely. I think for us at the bank, we want to assure that for DFOs that we're here to support them. One, we have a good support system within the bank in terms of just the relevant expertise. Then the other thing is that we have rich partnerships. We have contacts. We can be able to link them with partners who are actually supporting NGOs to be sustainable. So we can be able to create those kind of forums and partnerships so that then the NGO that is really particular about becoming sustainable and you know, winning themselves off funding, that they're able to start their social enterprises so that they can eventually just be standalone and able to generate their own income.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. I think you're speaking the same thing, generating your own, being self-sufficient, isn't it?
I think there was a question also on the green.
Yes, how important is green finance in your sustainability strategy for donor-funded organizations?
Yes, we know internationally there's a green financing framework that is there, but a lot of local organizations are not able to access it, partly because of capacity. So what NCBA is doing is to work with the government of Kenya, work with the Ministry of Environment, and they are technical people who know how actually to create projects that can be able to access that funding. That's what we are working on now, because we know Kenya is in a very good space when it comes to green financing. We have also been talking with banks, including especially NCBA, because, for example, our buildings have no solutions for energy, green energy solutions. We use the grid. Of course, Kenya's grid is almost over 90% green, but you're asking yourself, we have a generator there that runs a bit of time when there's no power. So we want to transform most of our buildings to go green by introducing solar. Because when you have solar, you can basically light up your building during the day. Because some of them are offices, they are just lit during the day. We are thinking about churches of the future. You don't want churches to be running on diesel and generators and so on. And especially because Kenya Power always gives us power cuts a lot of times. You want that transition to be seamless so that you have solar capabilities. But we can't do that now, because if you are going to buy the best equipment for solar, it's pricey. So that's where now NCBA comes in to finance that, so that then you are able to do the transition.
And I know they do. You do actually finance green energy, isn't it?
Actually, let me add on to that. That indeed we do have we do support on green financing. That means that we already have a solar funding system where we can be able to support on solar you know, installation, and we have a it's well structured. You know, we've come up with a one-stop again solution where you're able to understand. Someone will come and do the analysis at your building to see what kind of energy that you're currently you're currently using and what kind of solar panels that you require. Then we've also brought on board service providers who can also be able, you can pick from any of the service providers that we have. Then we do now the financing for you. So we do have that. Secondly, we are also, as you know, that NCBA is a leader in asset financing. We have also said that we're looking at the future, and now we do have even we are financing solar powered, not solar powered, electric vehicles, and we have a power charging station where within our premises. So we are moving with the trend, and we can be able to support even those vehicles when an organization wants to buy a vehicle that is electric. We do have we can support them towards that end. When you want to install solar, please look out and come to us.
Wow,
We'll
the
support them.
world is going green courtesy of NCBA Bank. Fantastic. There was also a question in terms of, I think that's for you, Judy. In our organization, there's a funding gap, especially now that the donors have packed out. Do you have innovation solutions to this kind of a situation?
Yes, we do. Absolutely. We do have bridging facilities where we can support the NGOs or donor-funded organizations to be able to access financing, whether it is short-term, mostly it would be short-term. The challenge we have, and I must say it here, is that sometimes and more often than not, that those DFOs are actually do not have the power to borrow. The way they are constituted, they may not have that power. That is one of the challenges that we face. And then also, remember, when you borrow from the bank, you're borrowing and your ability to pay has to be determined, and it has to make sense both for you and also for the bank. So what we find that, for example, where the organization has only, let's say, one donor funding, if you have a diversification, you have 2-3 donors, we are able to work with you and see how we can support you, especially on a short-term basis. The biggest challenge has been over-reliance on one donor. Secondly, just not having the power to borrow, and this is largely how they're constituted.
NCCK, you're ahead of the game. You don't just have one donor. You guys are smart. I mean, 100 years old. What do we expect? Wisdom, right?
Yes.
Anyway, Canon. So in all this that we're talking about, I'm seeing a lot of, without financial literacy, then you wouldn't be able to achieve what you've achieved so far. Does NCBA provide, financial literacy when it comes to your financial, the team or even the programs? Do they partner with you in terms of literacy?
Yes, as I said earlier, they have a lot of experts. You have experts that deal with the banking side, like Judy here. And you have others, like, for example, in the investment banking, that when you sit down with them and you explain your problem, they're able to give you solutions. And this is something that we have seen, not with very many banks, where they are actually looking at you as a customer, not just because of banking, but they can put you in several other tracks that can be able to help you discover your own solution, or especially financial solutions. And that's why, for example, at this time when we are saying the Americans have cut the USAID funding, the other countries in Europe and other places are also coming up with policies that are indicating that we must work towards what we call the journey to self-sustainability. Then you have to have projects that are self-sustaining. So when you have a partner like NCBA, then it becomes much easier for you, because if it is arranging for you to raise money from the market, they'll be able to go ahead and do it for you. And if it is, for example, to look at an organization such as even NCSK, we must now be able to look at, with these changes, where are we going to put our money? We used to run a lot of training before, and those training centers became our guest houses. So right now they are able to sustain themselves as guest houses and raise money from the market to sustain themselves. If we want to have meetings, we have venues to meet. And you can't do that without a bank, because sometimes you require equipment or you require financing to put them together. So advisory and the trainings that NCBA carries out, they are very crucial for organizations. And I will advise anyone who is banked with NCBA, knock the door. Yes, and the door will be opened. And they will advise you.
And actually, I think their doors are always open, actually. Sometimes you feel like there are no doors at NCBA, you just walk in.
There's no door to knock.
Right. Do you want to add something, Judy?
I think it's just to echo what has been said, that the bank continues to offer really advisory.
Right.
And for us, we don't look at a customer as we don't give a solution one fits all. We take time to understand our customers, see what kind of challenges that they're having, and based on the solutions that they're looking for, we will ensure that we are able to customize.
Okay.
I think one of the benefits we have is that NCBA first is a regional bank, and in terms of flexibility, I think we thrive on that.
Okay.
Our customer is at the center of everything that we do, so we try and customize our solution so that it is so specific to each and every customer's need.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic. Then someone is saying here, hi Sally, I'm enjoying the show. I didn't know NCBA is that diverse. They seem to have solutions for almost every day-to-day challenge. Judy has done justice to go beyond the topic and even educate us on discovering financial solutions. Kudos, Judy.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then Samuel Gishara from Mombasa says, can my skill guarantee me funding? Advice in case of forex trading if I can show my track record. Judy,
Okay.
do you think that matters forex trading, isn't it? Yeah.
I think that's a good question, Samuel. And first, I would like you to offer you. Maybe you should look. We have positions opening up in our forex trading desk. But definitely would like to hear from you.
Okay.
He can get in touch.
Yeah.
We do have positions that have opened up in our trading desk.
Fantastic.
And maybe his skill can actually.
Okay, we'll definitely share your contacts, Judy, or even give you Samuel's, contacts.
Yeah, sure.
And on matters success, because as someone has just said there, you seem to have solutions for everything. Do you have any examples of probably DFOs that you've actually helped them achieve sustainability? Yes, there's NCCK and any other?
Yes, we do, absolutely, and many. But let me not, I may not be able to go into specific and give the names, But let me just give a highlight that we have supported an organization that was actually getting into a contract with a new donor, and that's a EU. And we were able to customize a solution that required us to give a financial guarantee. And that guarantee required us, first of all, when this request came, it came at a very difficult time. As you're aware that the country risk was quite high at some point. And therefore, we were having challenges, even as a banker, to be able to give. The donor requested that they did not want to receive a guarantee from a local bank. They wanted an international bank. We were able to quickly get a solution to support them with a guarantee from one of our correspondent bank, and that meant that they were able to get funding for 5 year donor funding of significant amount, and that has also meant that in terms of their sustainability continuity, we have supported them in that regard. We've also worked with as Canon here mentioned, a lot of faith-based institutions have they have education institution and hospitals. We have integrated with some of those organizations to be able to ensure through API integration and some on host-to-host integration to ensure that their collections are more efficient. And that means that in terms of sustainability, we are supporting them in that regard. So there are quite a number of solutions that and examples we can give. But let me just give those two for now.
Fantastic, great job. Now, someone is asking, is it commenting? What I love most about NCBA is their customer service. They make you feel so comfortable to even ask, quote unquote, silly questions, Yes, their doors are always open and their professional staff ready to serve and transform your life through financial guidance. It seems that one is one of your happy, customers right there, Judy.
Thank you.
Yeah, and as we wrap up now, probably for you, Canon, do you think NCBA has actually aligned its CSR, for example, goals with NCCK's mission? Are they aligned?
Well, we have had many discussions with Judy and other people, and it's a work in progress. And I think for example, for NCSK,
Yeah.
because we are always with the people. We are running hospitals, we
Right.
are running schools, we are running projects with the people. We would like our bank, and that's why I said it's work in progress, for NCBA to actually factor it. We have a very big spread across the country where we are actually making an impact on people, and we'd like the bank to come alongside with us, so that, for example, when we are doing a project for water, both for drinking and animals and for irrigation in Turkana. We want a partner that can be able to come. They may not fund everything because we have other partners, but they can work with us to make sure that now we extend. If we were serving 1,000 people, we can serve another 1,000 people. So that's the kind of partnership that we want to see going forward, and already we are in discussion around it.
Awesome, awesome. I think we'll have to end the show, unfortunately, right there because of time, but it is a conversation that you may be able to catch up with on our socials, on our YouTube channel. You'll be able to learn more on matter sustainability for donor-funded organizations. Thank you so much for your time, for the great feedback. Thank you so much to my guests, the panel. You've done an amazing job. Asante sana. And also thank you to our partners who for the last 25 years have ensured that we are here. They've held our hands to bring you such impactful, amazing content. I want to say asante sana. And if you wish or would like to be part of this amazing team or ministry, then you can do that by sending the word partner to 20316 SMS line or 0786 316 WhatsApp line. Send the word partner and we'll reach out to you. And also if you want to be a blessing or support this particular ministry, this particular show that is impacting lives out there, you can do that by sending any contribution that you may have to pay bill number 316 and the account number will be your telephone number. God bless you and keep you. See you again tomorrow on Matters Relationship.